And the U.S. cover-up is absolutely clear. It's not just Dr. Fauci lying.
We have special guest with us, Jeffrey Sachs, economist, academic, public policy analyst, and former director of the Earth Institute at Columbia University, where he holds the title of university professor. He is the president of the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network and served as the special advisor to UN Secretaries General Annan, Ban Ki-moon, and Antonio Guterres. He has also authored and edited numerous books, including multiple New York Times bestsellers. Welcome back to the show, Professor Jeffrey Sachs. Great to see you.
Thanks a lot. Good to be with you. Thank you.
So, I know we only have a short time with you, 30 minutes. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but you said COVID was a big thing for me. I covered it extensively. I got censored for telling the truth about COVID by YouTube and other places. I had hit pieces written about me and all that stuff. And I know you headed the Lancet group, so study group on COVID. And you figured out that COVID actually didn't come from pangolins or a Chinese wet market, that it actually was engineered in a lab. Now, everybody thought that that lab was in Wuhan, but you found out it was in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Is that true?
That's what I think is the most likely explanation for this virus. And I think that it has been covered up by the United States government, of course. That seems to be the only business of the United States, is to tell lies and to actually never pursue a real investigation. But my feeling is that this was a U.S. research project, quote unquote, that went completely awry, and that we have not seen a serious investigation, of course, by the U.S. government of what actually happened. So it's very convenient for them to say, yeah, China did it. But the odd part, Jimmy, is that in 2018 and 2019, the U.S. government was funding the kinds of experiments exactly that would produce such a virus just at this time. And there is now a long record of this that came out not because anyone investigated it, not because anyone told the truth, but because of Freedom of Information Act releases forced by the courts or by leaks of people that were inside the government. And some pretty basic things have been leaked. But most importantly, the research project that was underway to create artificial viruses, basically. I think they had this scheme. There is a full hypothesis that has been put forward by an investigator who's been on his own, but I think has done a wonderful job, named Jim Haslam. And he tracked each of the grants, each of the studies, each of the NIH-supported efforts, and he came up with a very plausible, the most plausible account of what happened. And that is that a virus was created by a leading U.S. science group and then sent to China for testing in a colony of Chinese bats in Wuhan. But the virus was created in the United States, but this research center is in Wuhan, and it's the only place that has the particular colony of bats that the researchers needed to test their virus. So this seems to me to be the best account of what's happened. But of course, it's a complete wall in the U.S. government to have any honesty about this whatsoever.
So aren't you? So now that we know for sure that Dr. Fauci lied about funding gain of function, he lied to Congress twice, at least the ones that I can count, that when he was asked if he was funding gain of function, and he said no. And of course, now we know that that's a lie. Even the NIH admitted that they were doing it. So, and now we also know that it didn't come from a wet market or a pangolin, that it came from funding that he used research that he funded. And
That's
so
correct.
the whole pandemic was literally caused by Dr. Fauci, who then lied about it. Now we know for sure he lied about it. We know for sure where it came from. Why do you think A, he's not being prosecuted? And B, why do you think nobody cares? No, those people still treat Dr. Fauci like he's a saint and Donald Trump is a demon because of COVID, even though Donald Trump went along with the whole thing and did Operation Warp Speed, and Dr. Fauci was the one lying about it.
Well, because the U.S. government does not want to investigate itself. Can you imagine if it was really established through the actual presentation of systematic evidence that the United States was the reason for this worldwide pandemic? This is, if it is the case, and as I say, it's likely but not certain. But if it is the case, and I think it is the case, the world would discover something absolutely shocking. This isn't about Fauci. This is about the United States government funding extraordinarily dangerous research, having a disaster of untold proportions, millions and millions of people dying, covering it up. And then you and I are asking, are they going to admit this, investigate themselves? No. This is absolutely not something where they're interested in Fauci or anybody else. Now, the fact of the matter is, a lot of what needs to be known is known inside the CIA. This is typical. The CIA has investigated this. They have all sorts of reasons to follow the line of thought that I've been discussing because it's a pretty powerful bit of evidence. And the U.S. cover-up is absolutely clear. It's not just Dr. Fauci lying, which he did. It's the fact that on February 1st, 2020, a group of virologists on a call with Fauci said that they thought that the evidence was that this was likely created by a lab, and that same group, the same group, 3 days later, produced the first draft of the paper that said it's unequivocally from nature. That can't happen. Honestly, that is a cover-up in play. That mere fact shows that a very influential paper that was the main document that the U.S. government used to deflect this charge for years, a paper called Proximal Origins of SARS-CoV-2, published in Nature Medicine, a major medical journal, was a fraud. And I think that this is absolutely the case because we now have, as a result of the hard work of investigative reporters, a clear timeline that the same authors went from most likely lab leak to unequivocally natural in 3 days.
So, yeah, we know it's because Fauci promised them he gave them grants for research, millions of dollars in grants. I'm pretty sure I saw that.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, are you, I'm angry still. I keep waiting for me to get over it. I'm not going to get over it. First of all, because I got vaccine injured and I don't know what all the injuries are going to be because it takes 10 years. So people think COVID's over. We're in the middle of a vaccine experiment that took place with millions and millions of people. And we're right in the middle of it. It's not over. We're at year 5 of a 10-year experiment. So we're going to find out more side effects or bad, horrible, toxic things that are coming from it. But I'm still angry about it, but no one else seems to be. And are you upset about it? Would you like to see some kind of prosecutions around this? Because they lied about everything. They lied about masks and lockdowns. There's no science behind any of it. They lied about herd immunity. They lied about natural immunity, and they lied about where the virus actually originated from. They lied about the vaccine stopping transmission. They lied about it stopping contraction, which was the basis for mandates. Hundreds of thousands of people lost their jobs. 41% of all Black-owned businesses shuttered permanently because of the lockdown. There seems to be no will it anywhere on the left or the right to try to get some kind of prosecutions going. And would you like to see that?
Yeah, I'm personally less interested in the prosecutions than I am at this moment in simply having the evidence. I have said, and others have said, that this was created at University of North Carolina. We do not have the lab records to confirm or to deny that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is a pandemic that took millions of lives. This is not complicated to look at this lab record, and there are other labs that are implicated in this. Rocky Mountain Laboratory, for example, which is an NIH laboratory, according to this hypothesis, was very much involved in the preparation and the first round of testing of this artificial virus. The reason being that Rocky Mountain Laboratory in Montana has a colony of bats that was used for testing, but the colony of bats are Egyptian fruit bats, not the Rhinophilus sinicus bats, which is the target of interest of the research program, which is in Wuhan. So what I'm saying, Jimmy, is that there is not even a complicated list of things that should be checked. But our government is so fundamentally dishonest down to the core that nothing is done properly. Everything is hidden from view. And am I mad? I'm sad, I have to tell you, that we can't put one foot in front of the other in an adult, honest way in this country about anything right now, because it seems to be the job of the federal government to lie at every single step of any issue. And this one's an important issue, and it's not even complicated to know what to look for. In fact, many of us have said it. I published an article many years ago saying, here's the list of things to look for. You can't get it done. This is not hard, but you can't get it done. And why can't you get it done? Because they don't want to do it. And because Congress is,
it's because
we do, by the way, we have a very fine Congress, very fine Senator, Rand Paul, who has been after this, and he's very talented, very smart, very assiduous, but he can't break the wall either, even as a U.S. Senator that is trying to get to the bottom of this. And the rest of the Senate is brain dead, as we know. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to look at anything. They don't want to exercise any constitutional responsibilities that they have, whether it's for war and peace, or whether it's for tariffs, or whether it's for finding out whether the U.S. government happened to create a deadly artificial virus. They don't even try anymore. So this is our situation, which is that we have an out of control executive branch, an out of control intelligence community, and basically nothing that we're told is true or straightforwardly true, because the whole idea is keep us in the dark about anything, about Venezuela, about Iran, about COVID. This is, we're not even there for a spectator sport. We're not supposed to watch except Donald Trump's social media.
So I agree with everything you said. So if I just vote for Democrats, then it'll all get better, right? And of course we know that's not true.
Yes.
It just keeps getting worse. Every administration gets worse. Barack Obama was not a departure from George Bush. He was a continuation of George Bush.
That's correct.
He took us from 2 wars to 7. He made sure the bankers got their bonuses while he kicked 5 million families out of their houses. He gave us a right-wing giveaway healthcare plan to the big pharma and big health insurance companies. He did Libya. He expanded the war in Afghanistan.
Absolutely.
He dropped more bombs than George W. Bush. He did a drone program that killed 90% innocent people. people. And then we go to Joe Biden. He's funding a genocide. He's forcing people out of their jobs for not taking a mandated vaccine that wasn't a vaccine. It just never stops, right? And they're censoring all over the place. So what is this? Is there a solution to this? I guess I don't have a solution. That's why I'm looking to you.
Look, all I know
can't
is
vote
I've
our way
said
out,
for
right?
All I've said for the last 25 years is this one's the worst. And then comes the next one. Oh my God, this one's the worst. Oh my God, this one's the worst. I've lost every smidgen of partisanship, Democrat, Republican. This is ridiculous. This has nothing to do with our reality right now. I thought Biden was pathetic, terrible. Of course, probably non-compos mentis for the last couple of years of his administration also. This one's actually worse, by the way. We're completely out of control right now. So, but it is not about Democrats and Republicans. You can't, it's the partisan game. It's us or them. I mean, I'm hoping, by the way, that of course that the Democrats win one or both houses of Congress in November, not because I favor the Democrats, but because I think we have an executive branch completely out of control. And do we have a Senate and House of Representatives? Not the way we're going right now. They don't even try to get at anything. They don't even try to hold on to their constitutional responsibilities.
The problem, the problem is, don't you think that if the Democrats, let's say they do win the House, they agree with Donald Trump's position in Gaza. They agree with Donald Trump bombing Venezuela or taking over or bombing Iran. They agree with him. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that I'm hoping maybe on just a purely mindless partisan basis that they say, no, you don't have the right to do that. Because what's really going on right now in the United States is one person rule. All Trump does every day on his whims or his viciousness or whatever it is, he declares some emergency. And that's literally what the decree says. By the power invested in me as president of the United States and under the International Economic Emergency Act, I declare an emergency. And then he does something completely whimsical, frivolous, destructive, whatever it is. And Congress doesn't budge, doesn't do anything. And this is very, very alarming. But the COVID story is the same thing. There's no accountability at all in Washington and no will to investigate itself. It's a long story, by the way. The last time the CIA was investigated was 50 years ago. 50 years ago. That was the Church Committee. That was an accident. They'll never let that happen again. So that's how it is right now. No accountability.
Come see us on stand-up tour. We'll be in Lansing, Michigan, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Salt Lake City, and Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.